ChatGPT, the sensational AI chatbot that's gone viral on the internet. Its human-like conversation skills appalled netizens. In fact, upon its release last November, it was hailed as one of the most impressive technological innovations of the year. But the AI program has a dark side, which not many people know about. Reports say it is thriving on underpaid labor from Kenya. A Times report has brought forward some disturbing details regarding the programming of ChatGPT itself. But before I explain that to you, let me ask you this. Do you remember GPT-3? For those who might not be aware, it is ChatGPT's predecessor. It showed an impressive ability to string sentences together. But do you know where it lacked? At putting on a filter. The chatbot was brilliant, but it often blurted out violent, sexist and racist remarks. And that was because the AI had been trained on hundreds of billions of words scraped from the internet, which unfortunately also included coarse and abusive language. And this was something that ChatGPT's creator, OpenAI, did not want to repeat. And so, it planned to design an additional AI-powered safety mechanism. The premise was simple. OpenAI would feed the examples of violence, hate speech, and sexual abuse, and the tool could learn to detect those forms of toxicity. That detector would be built into ChatGPT. It would check whether it was echoing the toxicity of its training data and filter it out before it reached the user. Now imagine the Herculean task of labeling all offensive words on the internet to set an example for the detector. Seems next to impossible, does it not? But it was actually carried out. OpenAI sent tens of thousands of snippets of text to an outsourcing firm in Kenya. Much of that text was pulled from the darkest recesses of the internet. Some of it described situations like child sexual abuse, murder, suicide, torture, self-harm, and incest in graphic detail. OpenAI's outsourcing partner in Kenya was SAMA, S-A-M-A, which is a San Francisco-based firm. It employs workers in Kenya, Uganda, India to label data for the Silicon Valley clients like Google, Meta, Microsoft. It employed data labelers to sift through the toxic content. The workers were expected to read and label between 150 and 250 passages of text per 9-hour shift. And many employees described being mentally scarred by their work. Guess what they were paid for it? Around $1.3 to $2 per hour. You heard that right. The employees worked in precarious conditions. They were reading through disturbing text for 9 hours every day. They had access to wellness counselors, but therapy sessions were rare or of no use. And they went through all of this to earn less than $2 an hour. The work's traumatic nature eventually led SAMA to cancel all its work for OpenAI in February 2022. The contract was terminated 8 months earlier than planned. But I want to ask this question. What was SAMA thinking to begin with? The contract stated that OpenAI would pay an hourly rate of $12.5 to SAMA for the work. This was 6 and 9 times the amount SAMA was paying its employees. In its defense, the company said the amount covered other costs like infrastructure expenses and other benefits. But does that justify the situation that the Kenyan workers were put through? Shouldn't a company like SAMA provide better working conditions to its labor? What were the labor bodies of the Kenyan government doing about this? How can unfair practices like this prevail at such a large level? And what does this say about AI programs like ChatGPT? The chatbot has been hailed as one of the best innovations out there, but it is still heavily dependent on manual labor to do the dirty work in a way. The efficient gains of the technology were celebrated with enthusiasm, but in the course, its dependence on underpaid labor was overlooked. On the face of it, the chatbot seems to be quite advanced, but the need for humans to label the data for it remains, at least for the time being. The chatbot relies on massive supply chains of labor and scraped data, much of which is unattributed and used without consent. Investors are racing to pour millions, billions of dollars into generative AI like ChatGPT, and OpenAI seems like the undisputed leader of the sector. But before it develops more artificial intelligence systems, maybe it should do something for actual human employees. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.